said, if we don't make this course virtual, we can't do it anymore. So it just pretty much came down to that. And I said, well, I don't really like it. I don't like the idea of doing soft skills in a virtual way. I don't think it can work. I know it's not going to work. But okay, if that's my only option, I'll see what I can do. So that's kind of where I started, really. I was very skeptical about that. So I'm going to use that as an example of one conversion or reshaping to virtual classroom from stand-up face-to-face classroom. As I mentioned, I have a couple of objectives here, and it sounds like I would like to talk about the pros and cons of facilitating face-to-face first. So we'll go over that, and then we'll talk more about the critical design components and some of the delivery components that can really make a course like that successful. So those are the two things that we're going to cover today. This was a quote from ASTD that I really liked. Got this at the conference in San Diego. Utilize action and blended learning styles, as most of us do, comprehend and capitalize on the power of social networking. That was a real key to what we did. And ultimately do more with less. We are all doing more with less, are we not? If anybody's not doing more with less, raise your hand. I want to know you. Okay, didn't think so. So here's our example of reshaping. We worked with a Fortune 50 financial services institution. The course was a strategic coaching course, so it was for it was really a change management coaching course. The original class was 1 full day, 8 hours. The audience was mid-level leaders. These were people who were geographically dispersed across the country, and in some cases in other parts of the world, who had very scarce learning opportunities. This was an audience that had not gotten a lot of attention, and so this was one of the first courses that was built specifically for them. And the original course, which is a face-to-face classroom, was built for them. And then it was changed to virtual, and we continued with that audience. Some of the restraints that we had, things like timing. I mean, they had to train hundreds and hundreds of these managers in a short period of time. They really wanted to get through the population. As I mentioned before, the budget cuts, and there were a lot of them. They were across the country, as I mentioned. And we tried doing it in a face-to-face environment, and so we would set up classes in various parts of the country and go to those places, and we couldn't always get the people in who needed to be in, and it was expensive for them to travel and all that. So there were a lot of issues with that. But the outcomes for them, it was a significant savings in time and money, definitely with travel for the facilitators. We didn't have to do that, we got rid of that. Materials, we no longer had to make the beautiful color glossy materials, and that saved money there. And then the improved performance from the blended delivery, we're going to talk about that a little more later, but we really saw some significant things happening in this population as a result of the blended delivery. So I'm going to talk about that a little more later. So why reshape? Well, we already talked about being competitive. In the world we live in today, cutting costs wherever we can, reducing the travel costs, which goes along with that, and extending the reach to more people. Having the virtual delivery, we can do it any time. We can do it with this many people. We get more people signing up. Just more capturing of more people. Attracting and engaging participants who enjoy using new technology. A lot of the younger managers, they love it. They love the new technology. They'd rather be on their computers than anything else. So we found that audience was really onto it. And then this was an important thing too, and that was to model the technology for people who manage in a virtual environment. And that was one of the real selling points, was that if you have managers who are managing virtually, what they learn in the class is not just about the content itself, but about how to use the tools to engage people. So that was a big plus that we didn't anticipate. Why would you not reshape? Well, there are certain times. I mean, do any of you have courses that you just say, there's no way we would make this a virtual course? It just has to be classroom. You're nodding.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not everything can be. You have to look at your needs assessment and what
Anybody else have an example of something that it simply wouldn't work?
Hopefully putting our equipment together.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
What we found was that there were